I am not a crook. All right. Get this thing started here. I want to do an urgent stream tonight, what I find to be an urgent stream. Hot topic of conversation a lot of people are having right now. I fall staunchly on one side of this particular issue. And then the topic at hand is Roe v. Wade and women's right to choose. So aside from the usual, most of you or many of you are probably more up on the news than I am. We will read an article here shortly. But I do have a short list of thoughts that came immediately to my mind. So we are going to be talking about abortion a bit. Probably some graphic content, so once again, trigger warning as I showed in the beginning. This is Trusty 8 Podcast. If you don't know, I'm the Kev Man, and got the fan running here. I could probably actually turn that down. Give me 1 second. I think we'll survive. It's not as warm in here as it was last night. This is the Trusty 8 Podcast, live from ApeCo Studios. I'm the ape. You're the ape. We're all apes. So I had a few notes here, and I want to convey the seriousness of this matter and what it's going to mean to me. So as we go through this, but these are the urgency and the seriousness of how we need to treat this. This particular issue, right? And the many things encompassed by the concepts we're going to address when we're talking about this. This is not going to be, by the way, an in-depth look at the right to life or abortion or anything like that. So these are my personal advice to you, right? And as far as we know, right, this is a potential ruling. This has not actually been ruled, but it looks very likely the Supreme Court may try to overturn Roe v. Wade, and I think they can as long as they reach a unanimous decision, and then we have a whole other mess of problems to deal with, but we'll get to that. But if this does happen, first and foremost, and yes, I'm dead serious, if you are not a licensed physician, a medical doctor who's trained in doing these, don't try to give an abortion. Do not give abortions. Do not give any type of medications or other chemicals you might think would help get rid of a baby. Just don't. We want women to have the right to choose, but we also want women to be safe and practice safely, and we want medical professionals performing these procedures. Don't get any cockamamie ideas in your head. Good day, 420 atheist. Good to see you. We're talking about these crazy folks over here in the SCOTUS, as we call it, the U.S. Supreme Court, try to take away a woman's right to choose in the matter of abortion. So don't give abortions. If you're not a doctor, don't do it. And don't try any of those weird like castor oil or any of these, mama's recipe for getting rid of a baby. Just don't do it. Be safe. So that brings me to my next point. We need to protect the doctors. We need to be prepared, really prepared to protect the doctors who are going to be doing these procedures, because they're going to be the first ones to come under fire anywhere in these states where they're going to come down hard on these people. They're going to come for the doctors first, and we need to make sure that we're giving them safe haven. We're watching out because, as we've seen before, especially in this area, we have a propensity for domestic terrorism. Call it like it is, right? We've seen this before. and really, really realistically, be prepared for war, be prepared for battle. If there's a hill we're going to die on as secular Americans, as patriots, this has to be it. I mean, I don't advocate or condone for civil war, and I don't think it would come out to an all-out civil war, but be prepared for real battle. Be prepared for real violence. Yeah, this is no small matter. Support the women who are trying to have these procedures done safely. A lot of women who are going to be restricted now even further than they might have been in their state of residence. They're going to need to get to a place where they can have these procedures done safely, and we want to support them. You know, help them financially if you can, give them a place to stay, recommend a place that they can go, however you can do that. But support the women who have to travel to be able to have to maintain that right to their choice. And the most important thing we can do is to abolish the Constitution. I think this is probably a prime example of why we need to do that. I'm not going to make the full argument for that here. It's still working in the treatise, but this is one reason that the system has failed us, and our separation of church and state has not worked. It is clearly not explicit enough for these folks, and this is really their primary argument. Their God-given rights to tell other people what to do with their bodies, and just getting tired of it, man. I'm getting tired of it. Personally, I don't speak about this issue too much. I feel like a lot of people use it to get clicks, and I don't enjoy that. Jenna, lovely to see you. See, I just tried to do. Oh, did it? Okay, so this is for some reason I got a pop-up. This is from The Guardian. It came out not too long ago. They're saying contraception could come under fire next after Roe v. Wade is overturned. A reckoning with what the 14th Amendment enshrines could affect consensual sex and even marriage rights. Following the bombshell release of a draft decision showing a majority of U.S. Supreme Court justices may overturn Roe v. Wade, legal experts believe other laws about individual autonomy may be in danger, including the right to access contraception. Laws broadly banning abortion may also prohibit certain forms of birth control that opponents incorrectly say are working as abortion-causing medications. And the Supreme Court decision underpinning the right to access contraception, Griswold v. Connecticut, could also come under fire in much the same way as Roe did. If this draft opinion becomes the opinion of the court, Griswold is imperiled, no question, says Wendy Parmet, faculty co-director for the Center of Health Policy and Law at Northeastern University. Justice Samuel Alito, in his draft decision, argues that Roe is a faulty law. Roe is based on the 14th Amendment, as are decisions like Obergefell v. Hodges on same-sex marriage, Loving v. Virginia on interracial marriage, and Lawrence v. Texas on consensual sex. Quote, the opinion doesn't read like Roe was a wrongful tangent of the foundation, end quote, within the 14th Amendment, Parmet said. Continue the quote. It really reads like the foundation was inappropriate and unfounded, so judges are going to find it hard to make the distinction with contraception, close quote. While Alito expressly states that similar laws are safe because they are not about moral issues, as he says abortion is, right, there's no reason the same logic couldn't be applied to other legal decisions, experts say. If the draft becomes the real opinion, all of those issues, contraception, consensual sex, and marriage rights, certainly are all at risk, said Priscilla Smith, lecturer on law and reproductive justice at Yale Law School. They have definitely left the door wide open, end quote. The right to abortion is not explicit in the Constitution, Alito argues in the draft, partly because at the time of the framing, abortion was legal in the U.S. before quickening, when the movements of a fetus are first felt. Similarly, contraception is not mentioned specifically in the Constitution, so strict interpretations of rights could exclude it. Well, yeah, I don't even know if they had, well, I mean, they definitely had condoms back then. Some type of condoms. There are a lot of decisions that follow from the idea of a constitutional right to privacy, Parmet said. Once you throw down the best known decision in that category of cases, every single other case is now up for grabs, end quote. The right to access contraception may not be challenged on its own, but it could be taken up under strict abortion laws, both new laws being introduced as well as older state laws on the books prior to Roe. Anti-abortion advocates have argued incorrectly that certain birth control methods, such as Plan B and certain intrauterine devices or IUDs, worked as abortifacients. I've never heard that before in my life. Abortifacients, because they may prevent the implantation of fertilized eggs, but there is no pregnancy without implantation, so these medications cannot terminate pregnancies. Wow, that's ridiculous. Even so, it's definitely possible that some states may criminally prosecute people who provide contraception that they claim are abortifacients, Smith said. Quote, because there are definitely states that would like to ban abortion from the moment of conception, which means before fertilization and before pregnancy, end quote. Some states could take these measures further to ban other forms of contraceptives. There's definitely going to be a huge push by the anti-abortion world to take this as far as they can, Smith said. There's a whole wing of this group that is opposed to abortion who only supports sexual intercourse when it's within the context of marriage and when it is designed to procreate. The use of contraception gets in the way of that. Nationally, anti-abortion advocates are setting the stage not just for a reversal of protections for abortion, but also for protection for the right to fetal life, the fetus being a person with a right to life guaranteed under the Constitution, end quote. Smith said, that's where we're going if things don't change. I guess that would be the proper end of the quote. Yeah. And I certainly agree with that. I think that it's right on the money, and this has been an issue of mine for a long time. I don't generally, as I said, focus on this topic because I don't want it to be clickbaity. I definitely feel it's, an issue that we should support. We should support those who actually have the power to be pregnant to advocate for themselves, right? That I don't think men in this case should really have much of a say in the matter, which is kind of an odd thing to say. We should all have a say, but but no, not in this case. Whatever it be, this is religious zealotry. They have no additional argument, and that's a big problem with a lot of the issues we have in our democracy in the U.S. here today, and in our Constitution, and why we need a new Constitution that more explicitly states this church-state separation, that makes it very clear and undeniable to these Bible thumpers that we are not going to adhere to their rules of their dirty old book. It's not happening here, not anymore. So try to be peaceful, be loving to one another, but also realize we are in a real battle. This is not merely an ideological battle anymore. This is going to have real consequences. There will be blood. Let's just hope there's not too much of it. Maybe, just maybe, we can win with words. All right. So once more, do not try to give your abortions if you're not a doctor. Protect the doctors who do give abortions and provide contraceptives. be prepared for the worst and hope for the best. Support women and their right to choose. Kat, you missed the whole dang show. Darn it, Kat. I was just talking about how we need to, throw those jagoffs out of the Supreme Court. Eggs are good with gravy. All right. So next time, I love me some aborted chickens. Next time, what was I saying? I don't know. Next time we'll be doing the queer questions. That's what I was saying. And in closing, be kind. Stay true to yourselves. Stay trusty. And don't break your phone. It's not helpful. All right. See you later.